Hello, Beltaloda. Today we're going to be talking about space stations. Not the kind that you may think. No, it's not going to be this one over here. Not this here Tracy Island station, although it does look quite pretty. No, we're going to be talking about these ones. Yes, the habitats, because changes are coming. Changes are coming in May. Oh yes, we're going to get habitat tiers. So first of all, habitats have been a bit of an interesting subject for quite some time, ever since they were introduced back in, I want to say, Utopia. Now, first of all, what do you think when you see a habitat like this one over here in space, Thunderbird 5, over a blown up planet? You would think you'd be able to build one of these relatively early on in the game, because in the end, it's just a habitat. Sadly, this is not actually the case. You can only build these starting somewhere around the mid-game for a rather steep price as well. For instance, if I want to build a habitat right now, it would set me back for 200 influence and 3,000 alloys, which is a rather significant amount, especially if you're playing as void dwellers in this particular case, which adds all sorts of challenges, such as your science nexus, for instance, eating up your habitat. But still, the habitats are going to change, and for the better, I would say, because there is a couple of very important things that we need to address. First of all, the base tier of habitat is going to be lowered. That's right. This is no longer going to be the base tier. This will actually become the middle tier. There will be another tier below this where you do not have these balls around it, and you will be able to build habitats for a lower cost. Probably, I'm going to say, maybe around 1,000 alloys in order to build them earlier on and have access to that technology, and then later on you will have access to the next tier of technology where you can then build these additional segments. At that point, you will have 6 districts. The base tier will have 4 districts on it. Then finally, you can upgrade them to the final version, which is the Habitat Worlds, which adds another slot to this here station and makes it even bigger. And then they will receive 8 districts. Now, right now, this particular setup has 8 districts already. Why? Because I am running a tradition, of course, Voidborn, which adds an additional 2 districts on our habitats at any moment in time. However, a very, very big bugbear regarding habitats is also going to be changed. And that is the fact that we'll soon be able to build special housing buildings on our habitats. As you can see, housing is a significant problem on habitats later in the game, especially if you have larger amounts of pops on those habitats, and you'll run into serious problems, because whilst you can build habitation districts, having only 8 habitats available means that you're going to need to min-max things quite significantly. And the ability to build special buildings specifically catered to building housing is good. In addition, the Voidborn Ascension perk will no longer have the ability to build 2 additional districts. No, they will give you the ability to build 2 additional housing, or at least 2 additional buildings on a habitat. On top of that, also being able to build the advanced version of the building. So no longer will you be able to build luxury apartments or whatever it is, and you will, in addition, you will be able to build Utopia domes, which I think is a nice little addition. It makes perfect sense, because not having enough habitation within a habitat makes perfect sense. In a perfect world, obviously, we'd be able to build things like orbitals and pre-ring world sort of things, things like Halo style orbitals, as you may have heard before. But yeah, in addition, the new Ascension perk will also give you access to the advanced space station habitat, which basically, well, at least the technology for it, which allows you to build the maxed out version of those habitats. Now, how is this going to change the game? Now, as you can see, I am currently playing with Voidborn, and Voidborn by itself has a rather significant advantage, and that is the ability to start off with not 1, not 2, but 3 habitats right at the start of the game that are all cranking out their own pops. And the thing is, if you can start building habitats earlier on, you will have more avenues of gaining pops, and pops means winning the game. Right now, for instance, if I go to one of my stations over here, we still have pops growing here, but all of those pops are grown over multiple worlds. And of course, that means that you can move pops back and forth, unless of course you're egalitarian, etc. And it maybe potentially will make Doomsday easier as well, so you could potentially escape on a habitat if you don't have any worlds available to you, which is, of course, always a different way of dealing with that particular challenge. Still, though, having cheap habitats at the start of the game may be a nice way to supplement the population growth that you need to have in order to really get going at the start of the game, because I really feel that habitats are underutilized by the time you get access to them. Of course, once again, if you're not playing as Voidborn, they're fairly useless because they're not really adding all that much value. In addition, what we also be able to do is, for instance, if I go to my construction ship over here, in the past what you would need to do is, to a planet, you would need to remove the station and then right click on the planet in order to set everything up. Well, now you will be able to just right click on the planet and the mining station will automatically be removed. In addition, all special districts will also will count as mining stations, such as, for instance, alloys and stuff like that. I believe gases will also be part of those particular setups. You'll still be able to harvest all of that, but you won't. They'll all automatically will default to science setups, which I think is a nice little improvement, and it does add a nice amount of value. So yeah, I do feel that with the updated graphics and the May update for stations, there will be additional tiers added to those habitats, which I think is a nice little addition. Plus, the ability to build habitats a lot earlier in the game will make them more flexible and far more useful. I'm not a pretty big fan of the amount of micromanaging that is involved in getting back and forth between all of these stations. There is quite a lot of stuff going on over here, but still it's pretty doable because, well, there's all these worlds. But look at all these lack of housing we have and all of these habitats, just because we just don't have access to that, or there's not enough bonuses to habitation. The only thing that I would really change over here is actually, if you're habitats focused, city districts, adding one additional housing. But I'm pretty sure that housing public works division does not apply to the habitation district, which I think is a real shame, because it would be a nice little addition, as well as some text, because habitats really need that in order to stay competitive if you're going to be focusing completely on that. We're going to go and wrap this up here. If you found this video interesting and you have your own ideas about how habitats should be developing, be sure to put them in the comments below. The developers are reading these, so your feedback is always appreciated. In addition, I want to thank my patrons from Patreon for making this video possible. If it wasn't for you, well, we wouldn't be making videos like this now, would we? In the meantime, though, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I'm looking forward to the birthday cards from my daughter, actually, that should be arriving hopefully somewhere early next month. It's her birthday on the 9th of May, so if you want to send out a card, there's a link in the description below to my P.O. box, or at least the address to my P.O. box. You can go check that out as well. If you want to do that, that'd be cool, because obviously she won't have a birthday party due to a certain outbreak that is currently going on. Anyway, we're gonna go and wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take good care of yourselves, and as always, keep cracking them planets. There's delicious resources inside. Oh yeah, resources. Inject them straight into my eyeballs.